What is up, people? You're watching yet another match preview on cricket.com with me, Avnish Hegde. And as you can see, I have, of course, Gurkirat and Nikhil Popat with me to, of course, break down and preview the Afghanistan versus Sri Lanka contest. And we're still in the group stages, final game, of course. And there will, of course, be one team who goes home. Who knows? It could be Sri Lanka, even though that they pocketed the points against Bangladesh, or it could be Afghanistan, who lost against Bangladesh. Boys, good afternoon. I know, of course, what precedes us, and trying not to address the elephant in the room because we've done it. Gurkirat will do it in the show. But for you guys, the viewers watching this, we will, of course, answer your questions at the end. Anything related to India, let's have some respect for all the Afghanistan fans joining us and the Sri Lankan fans joining us. It's not always India-centric, but we'll make it special for all the regular cool cats in the chat. Gurkirat, I'll come to you, but Nikhil Popat, how are you this afternoon? In Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, is this a fantasy merchant kind of game?
It is, but recently they played a series, and you just see at the toss, Shahidi almost like has a shoulder jig to give to Shanaka because that's how this game is all about. There are lot of mini battles to play for. I think Afghanistan had a off game with the ball, the previous one, and they'll want to put out a better show because people have picked them as winners. So I want to hear more about how people have picked them as winners. So please.
Yeah, I mean, just so you guys know what Nix is mentioning, because look, this is the predictions in the Asia Cup group stage from all of us. And Gurkirat, why were you sniggering before I put this graphic up?
Because I know what Nikhil was getting to. We discussed this after the Bangladesh Afghanistan game. I think that Afghanistan's best chance is to bat first, because I don't think that they still have the batting or the batting to chase down a target like 300. And given the game is in Lahore, it is quite possible that if Sri Lanka bat first and one of them has a good innings, they could really do that. Pathum Nissanka is capable of that. Charita Sri is capable of that. DDS has been in good form, and he's been sort of like Sri Lanka's crisis man. And then Shanaka himself has been batting really well. So there's that. The reason that I had picked Afghanistan for this fixture was that I felt batting in Lahore is going to help them far more than say batting in Sri Lanka, because the ball really moves. And Sri Lanka have had a lot of injuries. No Lahiru Kumara, no Dushmanta Chamira, no Hasaranga. But given how they bowled in that last game, I'll be concerned as an Afghanistan fan, because all three of their top bowlers, whether it's Farooqi, Mujib, or Rashid, they didn't have great games and they went for runs. Farooqi didn't even complete his spell. So if these three are not doing anything, then it's very difficult to expect someone like a Kareem Jannat or Gulbuddin Naib to come in and do anything, or maybe even Nabi for that matter. Not sure if there will be changes. They have an option of getting in Salim as a second pacer, but I'm really not sure if it's going to make that much of a difference if the three men in the bowling attack don't turn up.
Okay, the toss, of course, prevails in just a matter of moments. We'll bring you the breaking news. But next, quickly on the toss, and he mentioned Lahore, where the ball comes onto the bat much more nicer than the Sri Lankan surfaces. Would you automatically bat first, given the fact that it's baking right now at the Gaddafi Stadium?
Yeah, that, and also we saw swing later in the second inning. So I think that is something that we've seen has troubled sides. Without going into details, the last game that you saw in the Asia Cup that happened, you saw there was movement early on available as well for Karan Kessi and even Sompal for that matter. So you'll want to use those conditions to your best advantage. And not to forget, Sri Lanka are coming off 11 match winning streak. So lots to play for.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. I mean, it's quite brilliant, right? They're taking this confidence into the group, beg your pardon, the Super Fours, dare I say, hopefully that they don't get humbled by Afghanistan. But just going back to that prediction chart that we, of course, put out, no one had a straight streak, if I may add, because I stumbled in getting the Bangladesh-Afghanistan prediction wrong, and you boys stumbled in getting the Bangladesh-Sri Lanka one wrong, right?
Yeah, I have only got the Bangladesh-Sri Lanka one wrong so far.
Yeah, same. Even I got just one wrong. So it's fine. It's
Yeah,
all
of course, the
about today.
Pakistan India one is also we got wrong, but yeah, because it
So
was a
come
curve
on,
result.
Afghanistan. Come on, Afghanistan. I'm backing them. I forgot that I predicted that they'll beat Sri Lanka. But now I'm backing them. And let's see
This
what
is why
happens.
I asked, okay, people have picked them, and you conveniently just missed that you also have picked them.
Speaking of Afghanistan, Gurkirat, we have some qualification scenarios to show you and the viewers right now. Because remember, now this is what the scene is. If Sri Lanka bat first, you can see, I don't want to go on and talk to you guys about pretty much every scenario, but as you can see, this is what the men from the Emerald Island will want to avoid. The men from Kabul will definitely want to do. Nikhil Popat, can Afghanistan bat first, or do you think they should
Sri,
bowl first?
Sri Lanka is batting first, so let's get
Oh,
out
they're
of the
already
way.
batting first. Oh my word. Okay,
Yeah,
they're batting first. They're batting first. We'll
yeah,
come back to that qualification scenario then. Or actually, we'll just proceed with it, Gurkirat. Now that
yeah.
we know that Sri Lanka are batting first, what do you think is going to happen in that left hand side column?
I think it's still
Yeah,
talking on mute.
I'd be no, no.
Acha,
I was
acha,
removing the mute.
acha. Cool.
See, I'd be surprised if Sri Lanka score anything less than 250. It's not
Fair.
something that cannot happen, but chances of it are low because Sri Lankan batting has sometimes been a little mercurial and they've collapsed out of nowhere. But I don't think the conditions are such that they would collapse. So even if say Sri Lanka scores somewhere around 270, right? I feel if Afghanistan are able to restrict Sri Lanka to around 270, it would be a decent bowling effort. So from there, if you look at the difference that if Sri Lanka scored 250 runs, you have to win with 80 balls to spare. If it's 300, then 76. So we could assume that if the target is somewhere around 275 or 270, Afghanistan will have to chase down with 13 overs to spare. Now, realistically, I don't see that happening, that Afghanistan chase down a target of 270 with 13 overs to spare, because they're not that lineup that can bat so aggressively. For if that has to happen, their best chance in most cases is Gurbaz doing well, but Gurbaz will have to take off like he does in T20 games. In ODIs, he's still a little more circumspect. He takes his time because he realizes that he's the one who has the gas to accelerate. But say if they have to, chase around 270 to finish that target off in 37 overs, they'll really need Gurbaz to take off and then probably promote a Najibullah, promote a Rashid, and then just ask them to go bang bang.
Now, Hazbatullah Shahidi, who's the Afghanistan captain, has had some interesting things to say at the toss, even though he's lost it. Gurkirat and Nix, tell me what you guys think, because he said, honestly, we wanted to bowl first because NRR is a big factor, so we wanted to chase. We will try our best to take good decisions and play positively. We go with the same team. On the contrary, Nix, Dasan Shanaka, after winning the toss, goes on to say, we really wanted to bat first. Runs on the board, always handy. So it's complete contrast. Both teams have got what they wanted. Whose hands will it play into more, you feel?
See, I think it is just a reflection of where they are as a side in this competition. That and something that's very evident in modern day cricket, that you want to chase so that you know the target and you can adjust accordingly. So that is the one way to go about it. That okay, we have this target, as Faji said. The only problem with Afghanistan, as he also already mentioned, is the dependency on the top two. Had there been a couple of guys in the middle order who are in form, say Najibullah and Nabi, then also you can afford to be confident on. I'll not say bullish about your chances, but if you are to chase 250 quickly, you could possibly think that there is scope, because there is an attack at the other end which is not at their optimum best in terms of Thikshana and Pathirana. To be very honest, if you take care of these two, the likes of Shanaka, Velalage, Rajitha, you can manage them better. You can find ways to counter them and also hit DDS at that while talking about it, because conditions have been such that you can take care of it. But it has to start. The start is what cost Afghanistan in the previous game, and that is what I think will also define this one, because in the Afghanistan Sri Lanka series, I think there were two very big stands that Sri Lanka had, and that never just allowed Afghanistan to get back in the game. So I think that's where it will be very crucial for Afghanistan to start really well. And yeah, because once they get to a score of 250 plus, then Thikshana, Pathirana, scoreboard pressure, everything will do the job.
And things are looking nice for Sri Lanka, right? Gurkirat, especially the last game, they beat Bangladesh, their rivals, and Samara Vikrama. He's taking to that number 4 like a duck to water. He averages close to 50. So I hope they go with the same batting order, right? You think so?
Yeah, you'd hope so. You'd hope so. Just one thing that I wanted to mention, what Nikhil was talking about, the Sri Lankan bowling attack. The last game that I saw, I also felt that Rajita was also quite accurate. So if you if you want to score runs against him, then you'll have to do something out of the ordinary to put him off his lines. Maybe charge him or do something funky, because otherwise the way he bowled in that last game, it was quite a robotic accuracy. He was just hitting the same length and not allowing the Bangladesh batters to do anything extra, or allow them any loose deliveries. So there is that. See, like I said, you'd expect Sri Lanka to have the not change anything, because they took care of Bangladesh. They'd be expected to, especially now that they're batting first, they would be expected to take care of Afghanistan if there is any help, or if there is any help available. They should just look to play out the power play, because once that first spell of Faruqi and Mujib is played out, then automatically things are going to become easy. Faruqi is not going to bowl throughout. Neither is Mujib going to bowl. So when Gulbadin will come in, when Kareem Jannat will come in, or Nabi will come in, there will be enough run scoring opportunities.
Yeah, it does. And it promises to be a belter of a pitch, by the way, because I'm just reading a little bit of it. And they go on to say it's a 300 pitch, bit of cracks and dry than the last game, but Sri Lanka should definitely enjoy batting first. It makes me think how they're going to cope with one man, boys, which is, of course, this man, because look at what he's done since his debut 170 wickets in counting in just 88 games. We know that he's a T20 legend already. But talk to me about those numbers, Nikhil Popat, and what really amazes you there.
The economy rate, it is very good. The average is brilliant, and again, something we discussed a while back, that he's able to hold his own, even being part of an attack that is not always a well-rounded one. Just tells you the quality of him. Uh, when you get set, of course, you can take him on, but that's the challenge that he also has to keep evolving, and that's what he's done from time to time. What I am very surprised is with the pitch report, which says that it is drier than the last one, but they expect 300. So this should definitely be a sub 200 score then. Going by the logic of good pitch reports and the contrast happening in the game.
Yeah, I mean, what's your predictions? Let's move to that then, because you mentioned it there. It could be anything close to 300, it could be lesser. I'm going to go and say 278 for 750 overs. How about that?
Yeah, it is pretty much possible if the pitch report is accurate enough. And yeah, I think the depth that Sri Lanka have, possibly seeing a couple of tons being made if they bat well. So I'll go probably higher and end up 100 runs short. 321 for 7.
321 for 7. I like that. Gurkirat, where you going, bro? Are you going to go higher, lower than me? How's it going?
See, if it does turn out to be drier, uh, then I'll keep under 300 prediction, somewhere around 270 to 280. The reason for that is, if it actually turns out to be drier, I
Yeah.
feel someone like Naib, Gulbuddin Naib, I keep confusing the names for some reason, I don't know. With his cutters, he could be a little useful, because the last match that happened between Pakistan and Afghanistan, when he'd come in, his cutters were useful and he was not easy
Yeah.
to hit away. But it all depends on the fact if it's actually dry or not. If it's not dry, then could easily be an above 300 score. But if it's dry, I still feel Sri Lanka should get somewhere around 270 to 280.
Yeah, I remember the last game, the Bangladesh batter scored, 334, and it just makes you think
342.
about
No,
342.
sorry, that was Pakistan. Sorry.
Pakistan.
He's trying to catch me out. He's trying to catch me out. And you know
I
what?
remember, because you made the prediction of 338. So if you remember, I told you that the last ball spoiled your prediction.
No problem. I'll tell you why. Because I was actually reading it off our website. As you can see, the live analysis of Afghanistan-Sri Lanka match 6, and it's a new boy, as you can see here, Gaurav Nandan Tripathi. So catch him in the live blog if you guys like the written context. And there's more fantastic things to check out on cricket.com, including India's World Cup squad. We'll talk about it at the end of the show, like I promised, and lots of other things which will fascinate you on the website. Right, guys, with that out of the way, I just want to talk to you about a couple of other things and plug in one more thing before we move on about our weekly content plan, right? For the viewers watching this, check this out, because essentially we have made it like a restaurant, a fantastic restaurant where we offer you dishes every day towards your liking. As you can see there, Monday Night Live, a not so typical live show glazed with your questions served with a slice of stats, even our spicy, sweet, and sour banter in this Monday serving. Then you have the classics every Tuesday. And mind you, the classics today, which is dropping, is a belter because it is about Sachin Tendulkar and how a certain international cricket team put $1,000 to get his wicket, which is a good one. It drops 8 p.m. today. Then Thursday is, of course, Gurkirat's show. And I love how we've titled this in the description, as you can see. In this live Q&A, devour the slow-cooked, meaty topics in the world of cricket with our in-house specialist, GSG. I mean, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant, Gurkirat. I'll come to you and your thoughts about how we pen that, and then features and explainers, as you can see, drops on Friday and Saturday. So look, lots to love and lots to like on cricket.com. We also serve previews and reviews and other season specials, as it's mentioned here. And don't even worry about the World Cup because we've got you covered. How do you like that description of your show? Slow cooked, meaty topics. You're a meat lover and you take your time in with the Deep Point show.
Lovely description. It took me back to some of the best restaurants I have visited in Punjab, not just in Amritsar but in Punjab. And yeah, I could think of myself enjoying those meaty meals with great sides.
With great sides. But look, catch cricket.com for everything. Right, we'll take a couple of questions from the comments then, because look, this one pertains to the game in hand, which happens in about 10 minutes' time. What do you reckon, boys? Because I know the scheduling has been tough on 5 teams, let alone the one team that we normally want to avoid in this conversation. But Gurkirat, if Afghanistan had their games in Sri Lanka, would they have had better chances?
Yeah, I felt differently, but Somesh, who was on the show last night, he felt differently. He felt that he was picking Sri Lanka to win this game versus Afghanistan because the game was in Lahore. I feel differently, and for me, the reason was that pitches in Sri Lanka have had more help for bowlers. So early, taking new ball wickets would have been far more easier, and that exposes Afghanistan's middle order. I've been confusing names all over the place. I don't know what's happening, but that would have exposed Afghanistan's middle order far more, and yeah, it would really not help their batting. What I feel is that their three bowlers, Faruqi, Mujib, and Rashid, still have the pedigree to make an impact on a relatively flat surface. But I don't think that's the case with their batting, that their batting can make an impact on relatively bowling friendly surfaces. So for me, not really, but I don't know why Sumesh picked it. Otherwise, I'd like to hear it from Nikhil.
Nikhil?
Yeah, I think pretty much is similar because see the thing with the batting bit is their spin attack is strong. So there is no doubt that they will be able to keep Sri Lanka quiet. But the bowling attack that teams have had to counter that, it has been good enough in the past on even better batting surfaces. So if there is more help for the bowlers, you would expect the naturally better bowling attacks to also take care of the Afghanistan batting, which is why we keep going back to the option of having more people, more dependable people in terms of not just Gurbaz and Ibrahim, but a Riaz Hassan in the middle order or a Najibullah who's in form. Shahidi played well in the last game. All credit to him for that. Rahmat Shah has to start quicker, maybe at times, depending on the situation. So there are all those factors that contribute because I think for their bowling, everybody holds their own. But for Afghanistan batting, they have to really come together as a unit to strike.
Yeah, and it just makes you think in this do or die game for them if they can actually get the heroes to stand up. Rashid is a man that we already mentioned, so check that out if you guys are just joining us right now. And like we said, Sri Lanka getting what they want by batting first, Afghanistan chasing because they think net run rate are important, and both teams are unchanged, right? So essentially, it's going to be a cracker in Lahore. We'll of course be doing the review later on in this game, and like I said, classics at 8 p.m. So that's this game that we're previewing. But obviously, right now, we'll want to, of course, address the elephant in the room just a little bit because we've spoken about it on the Monday Night Live in greater depth, and we've all kind of got our squads bang on. Essentially, we knew that the 15 would be the 15 that they've picked earlier this afternoon. So let's take a look at that all important squad that India have. And where is it? Where is it? Yeah, it's here. It's here. It's arrived. These are the 15 gents who will be, of course, trying to win the World Cup. Can they do it, Gurkirat? I'm nervous already. I'm already nervous, bro. And he's
They
on mute.
can. I mean, they can. You'd like to believe the top six or the out, the top five teams that are there. They can, but as always, it's the case with ICC tournaments. You need a little bit of luck. You need a few other things to go your way. You need someone to step up out of nowhere. I mean, if you look at the 2011 World Cup campaign for India, Yusuf India did not start with Suresh Raina. India started with Yusuf Pathan throughout the league stages, and then in the end they made that swap. And credit to Suresh Raina that he could come good in those two games in the quarterfinal and the semi-final. So you need you need contributions like these. Then you also need some luck that India had in the semi-final where Sachin was dropped 5 to 6 times. So you need there is skill and there is pedigree. The important thing to know is that how well can they come together leading up to the World Cup and then carry that form. So definitely the skill and quality is there, but like I said, a lot of things need to come together.
Yeah, and you can hear more from Gurkirat about those 15 members in his show on Thursday for sure. Nikhil, just to ask you about the press conference again, similar tone, similar vibes. Ajit and Rohit complimenting each other beautifully, like two Mumbaikars chilling and having like some vada pav in Bandra. But regardless, he was pretty assertive again, Rohit Sharma, and he had no problem fending off the press.
Yeah, I think the one moment that caught my eye was when Ajit Agarkar announced Rohit Sharma as captain. He did. It's just a good no, taking the tension out of it or just calming everybody down. I don't know. Some people did it differently also, but I felt again very expected squad. Uh, I got it right yesterday. Not taking any other names or puns because we've discussed this to the end and back and all of that. So I'm just hoping for one thing: everybody stays fit. That is all that I'm expecting because this side, the management has been caught off guard and whatnot because of injuries. So if all of them, all these 15 are fit, I don't think you have a better squad right now. Better squad combination possible right now. So go ahead, do your job, and we can have history on November 19th.
Yeah, man. I hope Rahul Dravid is a miracle worker and India win the World Cup. I'll be the happiest man ever. And let's leave that chat there. One more comment because Mehdi Hassan's apparently dropped in the chat, guys. Why Bharat
Nice.
have Jadeja and Akshar both in the team and not any right arm spinner? By the way, what are your thoughts about Bharat? Do you want to get political or let's leave it out of the question? And what are your thoughts about this? No off spinner, Gurkirat. Really quickly, we have 2 minutes to
Yeah.
wrap up.
It's difficult to bring in a bowler just for the sake of it or bring in a variety just for the sake of it. Ashwin has played only two ODIs since 2017 Champions Trophy. Sundar actually got the first chance and the first preference. He was there when India played West Indies at home in the beginning of 2022, but his injuries have not helped, and he's not taken the next step in his batting. There is potential, but we have not seen him play a useful cameo while coming in at number 7 or number 8. So there's that. So, and people keep confusing as Akshar and Jadeja to be the same bowlers when they are not. The release points are different, the speeds are different, the trajectories are different. Their respective strengths as batters are also different. Akshar's better versus spin, Jadeja's better versus pace. So it's an oversimplification to say that they are similar players. They're not.
Yeah, I mean, fairly summed up well by you. And look, Nikhil, thank you so much for your time as well. I'm just trying to peer across to see if the action started. It's going to start in about 10 minutes. It's going to be a good watch this because both teams need the points to enter the Super Fours. Whose will it be? We'll, of course, break it down in the match review with the same crew. Gurkirat and Nikhil will be joining me in the post match. So join us then. We're going to be 5 minutes post match. Until then, it's a good boy, good day, and enjoy your afternoon, gents, boys, I should say. Thanks, Gurkirat and Nix, and subscribe if you're new. Please like this video. You guys know the drill, and we'll leave it there. Cheers.